but I'm going to, just for educational purposes, I'm going to show you guys what a federal indictment looks like. So this is out of the United States District Court, Eastern District of New York, United States of America against R. Kelly. Now, the enterprise, the defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, and individuals who served as managers, bodyguards, drivers, and personal assistants and runners for Kelly, as well as members of Kelly's entourage, comprised an enterprise. Now, why the hell are they referring to R. Kelly's organization as an enterprise? The reason why they're referring to it as an enterprise, guys, is because this is critical for racketeering statutes. Remember, they're not necessarily just charging him with sex trafficking. They're charging him with sex trafficking under the premise that it's under RICO, okay, the Racketeering Act. Okay, the enterprise consisted of constituted an ongoing organization whose members function as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of the enterprise. Okay, the purpose of the enterprise were to promote R. Kelly's music and the R. Kelly brand, and to recruit women and girls to engage in illegal sexual activity with Kelly. By promoting R. Kelly's music and the R. Kelly brand, the members of the enterprise expected to receive financial opportunities and personal benefits, including increased power and status within the enterprise. Okay, so like I told y'all before, he sold these girls a dream. And in connection with the enterprise, Kelly and other members of the enterprise traveled throughout the United States and abroad to perform at concert venues to promote the R. Kelly brand and to recruit women and girls to engage in sexual activity with Kelly. Bam, right there is how the feds got him. He was using, right, the girls and traveling interstate and doing all this extra shit, and that's what gave the feds jurisdiction. When Kelly attended and performed at concerts and other events, Kelly and/or members of the enterprise on Kelly's behalf invited women and girls backstage and to other events following Kelly's live performances. Let me enlarge this for y'all a little bit so you guys can see it better on your TV screens. These women and girls were often offered wristbands that signified that they were authorized to attend an event. There, Kelly relied upon members of the enterprise to ensure that only those authorized to attend were allowed at the event and to manage the flow of women and girls who were directly interacting with Kelly. When Kelly identified a woman or a girl who he wished to see again, he either gave his contact information to the woman or girl or obtained her contact information or relied upon members of the enterprise to do so. Following these events, Kelly communicated with certain of these women and girls by telephone, including the use of traditional telephone calls, text messages, iMessages, and FaceTime. As part of this communication, Kelly often requested that the women and girls provide him with photographs of themselves. Okay. Again, guys, when you use phones, text messages, FaceTime, all that stuff, what does it do? It triggers interstate commerce. Gotcha, bitch. Kelly and other members of the enterprise also arranged for the women and girls to travel to see Kelly on occasion, including at concerts throughout the United States and related events. To facilitate their travel, Kelly directed the women and girls to contact a member of the enterprise who then arranged for travel for the women and girls. When the women and girls arrived at the lodging, which was typically selected by a member of the enterprise, a member of the enterprise usually provided them with instructions. In addition, members of the enterprise took steps to ensure that the women and girls did not interact with other women and girls whom Kelly planned to see. So, guys, let's also deal with this elephant in the room. A big part of the reason why a lot of these people cooperated with the government was to not be prosecuted themselves for assisting R. Kelly in doing these criminal activities. Okay? So they cooperated with the government to avoid prosecution as well. You know, we got to call a spade a fucking spade. Members of the enterprise then arranged for the women and girls to attend his concerts and position them such that Kelly could see them during his concerts. And you guys are wondering, well, why are they putting all this stuff in this indictment? The reason, guys, is because they're establishing that it's an enterprise, step one, and then step two, that the enterprise affects interstate commerce. That's why they're talking about using phones. That's why they're talking about travel. That's why they're talking about him providing them lodging. That's why they're talking about members of the enterprise giving them instructions. All this, okay, creates a picture that we have a sophisticated criminal organization that is committing criminal activity while simultaneously, okay, affecting interstate commerce, which now gives the feds jurisdiction. So the beginning part of this indictment is giving the feds venue. Okay. In addition, members of the enterprise took steps to ensure that the women and girls did not interact with other women and girls whom Kelly planned to see. Members of the enterprise then arranged for the women and girls to attend his concert and position them such that Kelly could see them during his concert. Okay, also, I want to mention this part right here. This is very important, okay, guys? Because the girls all gave very similar testimonies and stories, even though they don't necessarily know each other, which actually made Kelly look a lot more guilty. Because if you got a bunch of girls from different places and they're all giving a very similar story, right? Hey, I wasn't permitted to eat at this time, or he made me call him daddy, or he made me do this or whatever, and a bunch of girls are able to corroborate the same set of facts without knowing each other, what does that do? That, my friends, is a clue that more than likely your witnesses are telling the truth. When I had a confidential informants, right, you can't necessarily go off of a confidential informant's word alone. You need to be able to corroborate it. So what I would do, right, when I was in witnesses, cooperating defendants, confidential informants, they're all the same because they're providing you information, okay? However, when you're getting this information, you have to be able to corroborate it through other people. So it would be common where I would interview a confidential informant, I would debrief him. Then after I debrief him, I would talk with law enforcement officers. I would talk with other witnesses. I would talk with the criminal himself sometimes, etc. And they would confirm certain things that the informant would say or other witnesses would say. And what you do is you extrapolate, okay, the truth from all these separate interviews from separate people that don't necessarily know each other, okay? That is how you build credibility in witnesses, informants, and cooperating defendants. You never get the story just from them. You get the story from multiple people, and if they're able to confirm certain facts, okay, that all of them experienced or saw themselves, that adds another layer of credibility to that person's testimony, okay? Hope you guys are enjoying this, man. I'm giving you a lot of thoughts. Hold on, let me stop the show real quick. How many likes do we got on this thing? Because I'm giving you guys an incredible amount of value right now that you ain't going to get nowhere else. So I need you guys to like the goddamn video. I'll check it on YouTube right now.
I'm gonna go put like on it right now.
Yeah. Go. Oh, you didn't even like the video. God
I
damn
always
it.
put like
Stupid.
to all your videos.
I'm gonna check right now, guys. Guys, like the goddamn video. We got 2,300 of you guys watching right now live. We're at 1.3. Guys, I need 2,000. Make sure to mute it.
Yeah, no, I already.
Okay. Guys, get me to 2,000 likes. All right. You don't got to spend no goddamn money, man. Just get the likes up. The reason why I want the likes up, guys, is because this video needs to get, out there, all right? So that more people can watch the video, learn, understand federal law, understand how sex trafficking works, how racketeering works, etc. Okay, and then they start going in facts here with how, how the girls weren't allowed to do certain things. So means and methods of the enterprise. So let's go ahead and go back to the US DOJ article. I just want to show you guys the how the feds were able to establish venue, okay? And this is I think this one is a 27-page indictment. Yeah, 17-page, okay. And they did several superseding indictments, guys, which basically means they charge them once, and then they get more evidence, charge them again, and that's a superseding indictment where it overrides the one before because they got new charges. And I think they did like 3 superseding indictments on this guy, okay? So racketeering on Act 1, bribery. Kelly bribed a state employee to create an identification card for Jane Doe number 1, then 15 years old, so that Kelly could marry Jane Doe number 1 because he believed she was pregnant and therefore the marriage can keep him out of jail. Who are they talking about here, guys? They're talking about let's see if the chat can get it. Who are they talking about here, guys? Let's see if y'all were paying attention earlier. Who are they talking about? And the winner is ASEC. I think he was the first one to have it. A bunch of y'all saying Aaliyah. Bam, there we go. And we showed you guys the marriage certificate earlier. So, yeah. Racketeering Acts 2, 7, and 10. Sexual exploitation of a child, Jane Doe. And some of you guys are probably wondering, what is bribery? Bribery is essentially when you're paying someone to do something, to overlook something, or to commit criminal activity against their position. Typically, they're in a trusted position, and you're paying them to not do what they're supposed to do. Okay, that's like a very layman's terms way of putting it for you guys. Racketeering Acts 2, 7, and 10. Exploitation of a child, Jane Doe number 2, Jane Doe number 4, and Jane Doe number 5. You guys are probably wondering, why the fuck are they using Jane Does? The reason why, guys, is because the girls were underage at the time of the criminal activity, and a lot of times to protect the victim's identity, they just call them Jane Doe, just like a John Doe. Kelly coerced Jane Doe number 2, Jane Doe number 4, and Jane Doe number 5 to engage in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing video recordings. Over the course of decades, he made these recordings and other recordings of sexually explicit conduct using VHS video cameras, Canon camcorders, iPhones, and iPads. Holy fuck, this guy, bro. This fucking...
Bruh.
My man was using VHS video cameras, them big-ass joints.
Well, it was a long time ago.
God damn. Racketeering Acts 11 and 13, forced labor. Kelly used a threat of physical harm and physical restraint to ensure that his victims, including Jane Doe number 4, Jane Doe number 5, and Jane Doe number 6, performed sexually at his command. So these three witnesses right here, Jane 4, 5, and 6, are probably the government's best witnesses. What is probably what it looks like to me, because I'm noticing a trend here that a bunch that they're in a couple of the different counts. As to Jane Doe number 4, he slapped her, choked her, and spit on her before demanding she give him oral sex. As to Jane Doe number 5, over a period of years, he spanked her, viciously assaulted her, confined her for periods of days, and otherwise manipulated her to ensure that she would perform for him sexually, including with other women and a man. As to Jane Doe number 6, he forced her to give him oral sex. When he did that, there was a gun within Kelly's reach. Oh, shit. God damn.
Bruh.
Between May 2009 and January 2010, Kelly regularly spoke with Jane Doe number 4 over the telephone to arrange for Jane Doe number 4 to come to his residence in Olympia Fields for the purpose of illegal sexual activity, which was illegal because Jane Doe 4 was too young to consent to sex in Illinois. Okay. Similarly, between September 2015 and October 2015, Kelly transported Jane Doe number 5, who was then 17 years old, from New York City to Oakland, California for the purpose of illegal sexual activity, as she was too young to consent to sex in California. So see how they got him here, guys? Now, you guys are probably wondering, well, wait, hold on. What do you mean by this, Myron? So, guys, other states have ages of consent when it comes to sex.